Please welcome NFRW Fundraising Chair, Jill Tate.
Howdy, y'all. Everybody bright-eyed and bushy-tailed yet? Listen, I just want to take a quick 20 seconds to say this. You are all coming to Texas in 2 years. But what's really exciting, guys, is you're coming to my hometown, the reddest county in the state of Texas. So I can't wait to welcome all of you. So I am honored today to get to introduce Randolph Russell. He has been a speaker at my club, and I think you will all really enjoy him. He is the author of The American History in No Time, an excellent way for you and your family to commemorate our nation's 250th anniversary by learning and relearning the basics of everyday citizenship. All it takes is just a couple of hours. Glowing reviews have come from academics as well as Newsmax host Dick Morris. Russell's presentations have been enjoyed across the country by numerous Republican groups and others. After his remarks, he will be at next to our NFRW booth here in the exhibit hall, where you can pick up a copy of his book, and I would also ask about his saxophone if you have a chance. Please welcome Randolph Russell.
She can call me Rudolph. Well, thank you, Jill. I'm really delighted to be here with all of you. It seems much longer, but it's only been a little over 8 months since President Trump's inauguration and the end of our long national nightmare that began with the stolen 2020 election, followed by the tyranny of an illegitimate president and his Democrat allies who were hell-bent on destroying this country. The Biden years will be remembered as one of the darkest periods in American history. But sometimes you have to pass through the darkness to see the light. If we hadn't gone through the last 5 years, we would still be oblivious to what was really going on. The world we thought we were living in was not reality. None of us, not even President Trump, realized just how corrupt our country had gotten. But it is now being exposed, and he is systematically and fearlessly setting things right and making America great again. All of us played a part in bringing about our tremendous electoral victories last November. But let us never forget to acknowledge the hand of divine providence. Who could doubt it after Butler, Pennsylvania? The head of our party was miraculously spared that day, and thank God, because Donald Trump is as vital to the future of this country as George Washington was to the founding of it. The goal now is to cement our victories and bring about the golden age President Trump envisions for America. If we are to see a true golden age, an intangible change has to occur in our country. I'm talking about what President Lincoln referred to as the mystic chords of memory that should permeate our entire society, influence what we do, and be a part of our identity, individually and collectively. I saw a video recently of a woman being stopped on the street to take a short quiz. She was able to quickly name every one of the Kardashian sisters, but had no idea who we fought in the Revolutionary War. While that might be at the far end of the spectrum, studies and surveys show that most of us aren't familiar with even the basics of our nation's history and don't know how the government works. A survey by the Freedom Forum, for instance, found that less than 1% of adults could name the 5 freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment to the Constitution. So the question for each of us is this: how deep is my connection to our national heritage? What do I really know about our country? Several years ago, I was surprised to find that with all the books that had been published on the subject, there was a gaping hole. No one had written a really concise overview, a quick and easy way to learn the basics every citizen should know. This little book fills that void for young and old alike. American History in No Time can be read in just a few hours. That's all it takes to get an incredible overview and know the key events, people, places, and principles from before Columbus to the founding of the United States and all the way up to the present. The book has been used at a number of colleges, but it's easy for anyone to understand, including children and people who may not have liked history before. This special 250th anniversary edition just came out. As you would expect, the book explains the Declaration and the Constitution, but you'll also learn why our nation's capital is called the District of Columbia. How long were tariffs the main source of federal revenue? It was more than 100 years. What happened in 1965 that led to a sharp increase in U.S. immigration and a huge demographic shift in our foreign-born population? And how many U.S. troops are at this very moment protecting us here and abroad? So, why talk about American history at a Republican gathering? Because we are the only party interested in making America great again. Being more knowledgeable will help us persuade others to join our ranks and vote with us. To lead effectively, we have to be examples. I think all of us would like to know more about our country, not just for ourselves, but so we can pass down that heritage to children, grandchildren, and others. Remember, it was Ronald Reagan who famously said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction." It's not just a civic duty, but also a family responsibility. That's hardly a chore, though, because our history provides an unlimited supply of fascinating stories. For example, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were two giants among our founding fathers, and both went on to become president. They lived to a ripe old age, long enough to see the United States become a major power in the world. Then, in one of the most extraordinary coincidences in history, both men died on the same day. Even more remarkable was the date, the 4th of July, 1826, 50 years to the day that they and other members of the Continental Congress gave birth to our nation by adopting the Declaration of Independence. We can learn about women who believed their voice mattered and finally achieved universal voting rights 144 years after we became a nation. Or Native American GIs in World War II, mostly Navajos, being used to transmit secret military messages in their tribal languages, which neither the Japanese nor the Germans were ever able to decipher. But the ultimate goal is not just to know what happened in the past, as important as that is, but to also recognize the fundamental principles behind what happened, which have made this the greatest nation that ever existed. Principles such as self-reliance, a strong military, capitalism, the rule of law, faith, courage, ingenuity, and sacrifice, and undergirding everything, freedom, that American ideal cherished above all others. These are conservative principles despised by Democrats. Conservative principles are what made America great, and they are what will preserve it. That's why knowing the history of America is so important. We see those guiding principles personified in the men and women who went before us. Next year, we'll celebrate the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States. There will be parades, concerts, air shows, fireworks, and other events to commemorate this important milestone. But worth more than all those public displays of patriotism is the quiet, personal patriotism of someone who knows what it really means to be an American. The answer is found mostly in our past. Familiarity with our nation's history should be one of the major things that binds us all together. Being united in that way will help us preserve what George Washington said was the brightest morn that ever dawned upon any country. And in so doing, we will show our gratitude for the remarkable legacy we have inherited as citizens of the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I have something else for you. I was a professional musician when I was younger, so I'd like to close by playing something for you. I'll do that off to the side. Takes a minute to get set up here. You mean Governor DeSantis didn't play something after his? Okay. This is what I'd like to play for you.